Hello, class, and welcome to today's lesson. Today, we're going to be covering ancient Greece. More specifically, we're going to be covering some new terminology, some new vocabulary words. In addition to that, we're going to be discovering how ancient Greece government worked and how it still influences today. And we're also going to be covering general knowledge about ancient Greece. So we're going to start off by the geography of ancient Greece. Where was ancient Greece located? Does anyone have an idea, just by looking at the map, where would ancient Greece be? Yeah, you are correct. Ancient Greece is located in the southern Europe, and it's mainly made up of uh, mainland and islands. More importantly, it is surrounded by water. As you guys can see on the map here on the board, ancient Greece was surrounded by water. So why is that important to an ancient civilization in order for them to thrive uh, in in that time? Yeah, you are correct. Being surrounded by water made trading very accessible. They were able to export and also import lots of goods. In addition to that, the Greek people were able to fish. Uh, their diet consists of fish and anything pretty much you can find in the water. That's kind of what their Mediterranean diet was made up of. Uh, and lastly, as you guys can see on the map, all the major cities were close or close enough to the water where sailors can maneuver easily to another part of the world, or they can trade within their own cities. So once again, being surrounded by water was played a crucial part in the civilization of ancient Greece. All right, so now moving on to our vocabulary terms for ancient Greece. So the first one, and we are going to go more in depth on this first vocabulary term, as you guys can see on the board, it is democracy. So democracy, what is a democracy? So democracy is a system of government in which the state power is vested in the people or the general population of the state. So what does that mean? What does democracy mean? So if you think about our classroom, right? Let's say we want to have a leader that represents all the students. How would we go about voting for that person? Should one person have all the power and say, I vote for example, I vote for Johnny to be the president of the class? No, right? In a democracy, everyone would have an equal say on who to vote for for student president, right? So each one of you will go ahead and vote for either Johnny or Sal. And whoever gets the most votes typically is the one that will become class president. So that's just a general, at the most basic level, what a democracy is. Its own people vote for who is to lead and who is to represent them. Because before that, more times than not, we had kings, we either had one person in power, and this is the first time in ancient history that we actually see a true form of democracy. And if you think about today, we kind of are influenced by in our own democracy. We have people we vote in, we have a president, we have a mayor, and that's all because of democracy. So I just want you guys to think about democracy for a little bit and think about how democracy influences us today in today's lives. The next term we want to go over is an agora. What was an agora? So an agora was a public open space used for assemblies and markets. Think about a open market. As you guys can see the picture, we have the famous public market center in Seattle. This is where people gather, they trade goods, they have conversations. So kind of in ancient Greece, they had agora, a space where people can talk politics, can talk about who they're going to vote in, and also where they can sell and trade their things as well. So, going back to democracy. So, democracy was probably one of the biggest contributors of ancient Greece and something that has influenced pretty much almost all civilizations after ancient Greece. So, if you think about democracy back in ancient Greece, who was able to vote? So, unfortunately, not everyone had the right to vote. They had some restrictions, and those restrictions included if you were a woman, sorry, ladies, you weren't able to vote. If you were a poor farmer, unfortunately, you were not able to vote. If you were a slave, no, you were not able to vote. Only men with political status or wealth were normally the citizens that were able to go ahead and vote. But now you fast forward to today. Who can vote today? Can a 12-year-old vote for president of the United States? No, unfortunately, today we still even have some restrictions on who is able to vote and who's not able to vote. So today, if you are over the age of 18, then and you're a citizen of the United States, you are able to vote for president. In addition to that, if you are registered to vote in a certain city, you are, like I mentioned before, you are able to vote for to elect a certain mayor that you think is qualified to represent you. So once again, democracy is very important, and one of the biggest takeaways I want you to take is democracy is one of the biggest contributors of ancient Greece and influence us even today. So in front of you, you have a concept map. So before the lesson, you guys can flip over your concept maps, and I want you guys to write democracy in the middle. And how does democracy work? Like I mentioned before, democracy, you are able to vote for a president, you are able to vote for a mayor, and I want you guys to really critically think about how democracy works today. Who can we vote in to represent us? So I have provided 2 examples, and I want you guys to continue working on your concept map. You guys are able to research it online if you are stuck. But first, I want you to think about in your head who you can vote for first. And then you can ask your peers. And then if you still need a little assistance, I can help create ideas. And we can also look online if need be to finish our concept map. So I'll give you guys a few minutes to complete your concept maps. All right, so now that you guys are finished with your maps, what were some of the findings of how democracy works? Go ahead. Yeah, correct. Board members of our own school are people that the citizens of the area elect to oversee the school. How else does democracy work? Who else can we vote in? So we have mayor, president, and board members. Who else can we? Yeah, correct. The governor of a state. So now governors are elected officials. They are someone that we elect to be in office. Anybody else? Yeah, also a senator. A senator is someone that we elect to represent us. So as you guys can see, democracy, it still influences us today, but we have our own rules of who can vote and who cannot vote as well. All right, so today's exit ticket is: how is geography important for the citizens in ancient Greece, and how does democracy influence today's society? I want you guys to write a brief answer for these 2 questions, and then once you guys turn in your papers, you may head out.